pleasant good afternoon to you, Trinidad and Tobago. To all of you locked on the World Wide Web, on the Facebook Live, on the YouTube, FBN TV, want to say special good afternoon to you. Right about now, we want to bring you the program Healthy Relationships with counselor and trainer Patrice Cuffy. Just want to let you know more about her. So the number, if you wish to get in contact with counselor and trainer Patrice Cuffy, it's 329-7383. You can also head on over to her website at cuffyconsulting.com. You can also check her out on Facebook. That's Patrice Cuffy and Associates, Equipping People for Life. And also on Instagram, you can follow her at Patrice Cuffy 1470. I'm going to give you that promo so you get some more info.
Hi, I'm Patrice Cuffy, counselor and trainer, and one of my deepest desires is to see people experience the fulfillment and growth that comes through healthy relationships. We're wired for relationships, so tune in and join with me as I explore and discuss tools for healthy relationships every Monday, 12:15 p.m. on Isaac 98.1 FM.
And at this time, I want to bring on my guest today, as per usual, Patrice Cuffy, counselor and a trainer. And let me just get her up here. So good morning to you, Patrice. Hope you're hearing me.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. So good to have you with me once again. Let me let the people see your beautiful face. All right. So good to have my sister Patrice here with me once again. So I know we are a little late, but please forgive me. I'm multitasking here, trying to set you up to have you sounding and looking good. So I'm going to hand it over to you right now at this time as we get into our program, Healthy Relationships.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Tiffany. Glad to be here as always. And today, so just saying hi to all our listeners, viewers, wherever you're from. God bless you, bless you, bless you. And continuing today with the mindsets that are necessary for healthy, intimate relationships. And we're looking at mindset number 4, which is a mindset to be open. And it's really a mindset to be open emotionally. So I'm going to be sharing what that is about and sharing what are some of the reasons that we are not open, and what are some of the things we can do to, encourage people that we're in relationships with to be open. All right. So remember, when I'm talking about intimate relationships, I am not just talking about marriages. I'm talking about friendships, parent-child relationships, boyfriend-girlfriend relationships, any relationship where there is a deep connection. Yeah. A mindset, so I have to do my little review. A mindset is a fortified way of thinking. It's a way that we understand and see whether it's God, ourselves, people, life, relationships. We could have mindsets about everything. All right. Remember that the word of God says, and now, dear brothers and sisters, one final thing. Fix your thoughts on what is true and honorable and right and pure and lovely and admirable. Think about things that are excellent and worthy of praise, because it's really important. What we think on, what we meditate on will be manifested in our actions. And all of us know, most of us would know, Romans chapter 12 verse 2, which says, don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. So again, the 12 mindsets that I believe are necessary for healthy, intimate relationships. And again, this is not me here just talking about marriages. This is all intimate relationships are: 1, the growth mindset; 2, a mindset that you are responsible for your thinking and behavior; 3, a mindset that all relationships take work. Number 4, the one that we'll be dealing with today, a mindset to be open. 5, a mindset where you are willing to be influenced by those you are in relationship with. Number 6, a mindset to treat others with respect. 7, a mindset to be empathetic. 8, a mindset to listen, to understand. 9, a mindset to forgive. 10, a mindset to repent. 11, a mindset that you cannot read each other's mind. And number 12, a mindset that another human being is not your source for identity or love. Now, if we don't have these mindsets, or the person that we're in relationship with don't have these mindsets, hardly likely you will have a relationship that is healthy, because these mindsets are actually not options for healthy relationships. They are essentials for healthy relationships. All right. So as I said, today I am expanding on number 4, a mindset to be emotionally open. So emotionally open means communicative about and expressive with your emotions. But I'm not here just looking at emotions. I'll also be looking at wants and needs, right? So emotional openness means that we share our emotions, we share our needs, we share our wants, and we share how we feel about those we are in intimate relationships with. How many people say things like, my mother has never told me that she loves me, or my father has never told me he's proud of me. This time they love you and they're proud of you, but they've never shared it, right? So emotional openness is not just about sharing your emotions, your needs, your wants, but sharing how you feel about those you are in intimate relationships with. Intimacy is developed through each person's ability to be open about how they are feeling and what they want. If your spouse, if your friend shuts down or finds it difficult to share or is unwilling to share, the relationship will break down. Now, we know that generally due to biological and or gender differences, it is easier for women to know and to share their feelings. We know that. Women tend to bond with others through talking and sharing feelings, right? Men generally bond with people by doing things together. So we fixing a car together, we playing some table tennis together, we doing some gaming together, and men tend to bond in doing things together, right? But of course, we know the exceptions to this. So we know generally it is easier, but it is not, but it is necessary that both men and women are emotionally open if they want to have healthy relationships. So what I want to look at now is possible reasons for emotional unavailability and how to encourage emotional openness, right? So I said what emotional openness is where you're able to share your emotion, needs, wants, and where we share how we feel about those we are in intimate relationships with. So what I'm looking at are some possible reasons for emotional unavailability and how to encourage emotional openness. Now, emotional unavailability or emotional availability means you are willing to make yourself vulnerable to another person, right? You're not guarded, you're not defensive or walled off. You allow others to see who you are and what you're feeling. So, of course, emotional unavailability is the opposite of that. So the structure of what I will be sharing came from an article, Why Emotional Openness Can Be Difficult and What to Do About It, by Sylvia Smith from aplus.com. So I found what she shared was really good. So I kind of used what she had as a structure. So These are my stuff, but I using her as a structure, what she wrote, right? So we're looking at possible reasons for emotional unavailability. One, past hurts that are unresolved. Past hurts, so one possible reason for emotional unavailability is past hurts that are unresolved. Many persons have been deeply hurt in past relationships, and it has caused them to make silent, sometimes unconscious vows to never be so vulnerable in a relationship again, right? They never again want to feel that disappointment or heartbreak. So while they want to be in close relationships, they want those relationships minus the heartbreak. As a result, their hearts are closed up while in the relationship. The deep disappointment may have happened in childhood. You know, we could get some really deep disappointments in childhood where we trusted people, we believed people, and we were disappointed, you know, deeply. They may have been blindsided by betrayal or rejection of a friend, or they may have had someone who cheated on them in a relationship, right? They may have made an inner vow not to allow their hearts to be broken again. So they project it, they protect it, sorry, so they protected their heart by building a barrier of emotional unavailability. And we understand that, of course, in doing that, what happens, the relationship will break down. And of course, in the relationship breaking down, they may end up saying, you see, it's a good thing I didn't open up my heart because the relationship didn't work. But self-fulfilling prophecy. If I believe that this is going to happen and I can actually do things that brings it to pass, right? A second reason why people may be emotionally unavailable is a fear and insecurity. Fear and insecurity also contribute largely to a lack of emotional openness. Some people are so afraid of losing someone that they love that they are afraid to share something that they feel may hurt the person for fear of losing the person. So they don't share all that they truly feel or even lie not to hurt the other person. Also, some persons are not accepting of themselves, or they feel like they have been rejected for being who they are, or they may be rejected if someone knows their past. So, you know, if this person knows my past, they reject me. So they never share who they truly are and how they really feel, because they believe if he or she really knows me, he or she may think less of me or reject me or withdraw from me. And I'm just saying, listeners, you don't have to live this way. You don't have to live with this, all these fears and insecurities. Please get help. And you know what? Many times the help is available right in your relationship, where you start being truthful and just sharing, right? The help could be available right in that relationship. Number three, addictions. So we're looking at what are some of the reasons that people are emotionally unavailable, not able to open up emotionally in relationships. So the first one we looked at was past hurts and unresolved past hurts, unresolved issues. Two, fear and insecurity. And number three, addictions. Addictions. Addictions can really cause us not to share. Workaholics, drug addicts, shopaholics, alcoholics, sex addicts, food addicts, right? Some addictions control and consume the person. So when you have things like people who are addicted to drugs, their life could be really consumed by it. People who are addicted to alcohol, even social media addicts, you know, workaholics, right? But all addictions are used as a mask to suppress pain, so that instead of intimately connecting with another human being to share my pain and to receive relief and healing that comes through meaningful connection, we turn to these things for the temporary high or the relief that they bring. Addictions can really destroy relationships because we are emotionally unavailable. So instead of sharing, we're doing these other things, right? If you are an addict, please seek help, right? Also try to identify the underlying pain that you are running from, the disappointment, the fear. Sometimes grief causes addiction. So people who have lost loved ones, and in dealing with that pain, they become addicted to shopping or working or social media, right? So fear, loss, grief, rejection. Seek help for your addiction, right? And again, many times it help could start right in your relationship by just sharing with another human being how you are feeling, what has happened, and how you are trying to cope using these addictions. And that could be the start of your healing journey. Because once we have addictions, we are unavailable or not as available as we should be in our relationships. Number four, another reason why we can be unavailable, right, not open in our relationships is a lack of training or practice. The truth is, many times we don't know something, honestly don't know. So, some of us never learned to identify and share our feelings. We grew up in a home or in homes where feelings were not acknowledged or shared. So some of us grew up in homes where the only feeling that might have been acknowledged was anger or happy or sad, right? Some of us come from environments where sharing feeling was seen as weak or even nonsensical. Like, oh, what are the facts? What's the logic here? I don't want to know how you feel. What is what is that about? Right? So persons, some of us, we need to be taught that feelings are neither right nor wrong. And though we don't make decisions based on our feelings alone, but based on, truth and facts and principles and morals, to have a truly healthy, intimate relationship with another person, we must be willing to both share and acknowledge feelings. In intimate relationships, and I'm sure that you all have heard me say this a number of times, a lot of problem solving starts with empathy and understanding how the other person or how each other is feeling in a situation. So if someone has grown up not knowing or sharing feelings, it may take some practice, right? And encouragement for them to learn the skill of being emotionally open. So some of us are not emotionally open because we don't even know that is a thing. Emotionally open, that is something, Truly, I am supposed to share how I feel, really. I'm not even sure how I feel, right? And there may also be another reason why people are not emotionally open or not emotionally available. There could be a temporary or a chronic emotionally emotional unavailability. So people could have a temporary emotional unavailability or chronic emotional unavailability. And we know chronic means it's ongoing, is a long time, right? So emotional unavailability can be either temporary or long lasting. Long lasting is chronic, right? And long lasting emotional unavailability may be due to mental illness. So some mental illnesses will cause a person to not be emotionally available, or abuse and trauma during childhood. And once there is mental illness, once there's a lot of abuse and trauma during childhood, persons will need professional help and, of course, God's healing and grace to address these issues. With temporary emotional unavailability, the person may be preoccupied for a while with major issues, which take priority over the day-to-day issues of the relationship. So sometimes you might have a major health concern. So that is, kind of consuming you at the point in time, or some pressing family obligation. A parent may not be well, or you're trying to support, a loved one, a parent, right? You also have those who have been recently had losses like bereavement, losses of close loved one, things like divorce, people who are going through serious loss may be temporarily emotionally available as they allow their emotions, and their emotions time to heal and to recover. So we have people who are emotionally unavailable temporarily because they're just really going through some tough things in their life that they need time to kind of sort through and process and heal. It doesn't mean who they are. And, we need to understand that and be able to give people, a break and love others as we would like to be loved when we're going through a difficult season. I remember when I had my daughter, I had postpartum depression. It was horrible. And that was a time where, to be honest, I was just trying to get through the day and not do anything horrible. And I'm really thankful for my husband and that I was able to pick up what was happening, because at first I didn't realize what was happening to me, to be honest. I just felt, as I said to my daughter, this is in the first month of having her, I said, your mommy loves you, but you may never know your mother. Because that is what was going on in my mind. Right? It was bad. And probably one day I'll share some more about it. And but I was not truly emotionally available, in the sense that it was just me trying to get through that time. And thank God for my husband when I realized and I was able to tell him what was going on. So he would try and come home as early as possible from work and take the baby from me. And I will go where I lived, there was a park in the back of us. I would go and just sit on that park bench by myself and just try to sort my head out, talk to God, but it was tough and I was not emotionally available for a little while, right? So I want to look at now how to encourage emotional openness. Number one, of course, is to resolve past hurts, right? Because of course we know past hurts, disappointments can really cause us to be guarded, right? Past hurts that have been buried or shoved into some dark room of our hearts will surface in some shape or form and cause trouble at a later stage. As painful as it is, unless those past hurtful experiences are carefully examined and appropriately grieved, they cannot be effectively laid to rest and will continue to fester and cause problems in our relationships. We need to decide to face feelings, to process, to forgive those who have hurt us, and to receive God's love and healing. We need to be willing to deal with the unhealthy mindsets that we develop to protect ourselves, because at the end of the day, nobody wants to feel hurt. So we get hurt and we develop certain mindsets that say, you see me, not me, I'm not trusting people, or I'm not opening up my heart again, people will just disappoint you. Those kinds of things that will actually, if we don't address them, prevent us from having healthy relationships where we're able to be open, right? And actually, when you allow yourself to go through and to heal, as difficult as that may be, the results is a new level of emotional openness, not just to people, but even to yourself, right? You start loving yourself even more, right? And being able to receive love, not just from God, but from others. Another one, if we want to encourage emotional openness, is to conquer your fear of rejection. Conquer your fear of rejection. Fear of rejection can have a paralyzing effect on relationships, preventing us from being open with others, with each other. But ironically, rejection occurs more when we are unavailable and unwilling to be open than when we share our deep, dark secrets. Because I'll tell you a little secret here. Everybody have issues. Everybody have some kind of brokenness. Everybody have something in the past. Right? So that when we actually share and be real about ourselves, it actually makes people feel more comfortable with us, and more comfortable about embracing us and having a healthy relationship. So when we're thinking they'll reject me because they know this about me, wow, people just feel so proud of you or so happy, or they feel good that you felt good about sharing it with them. They almost feel like it's an honor that you would have shared this with me. So, right, I think it's important for us to know that, so that if someone rejects you, so let's be real here. If someone rejects you after you shared your heart openly with them, you're probably better off without our relationship. Okay? So if after I tell you stuff about me, you decide I'm not good enough for you and whatever, you're better off without our relationship. Believe you me, just a little tip, right? Number 3, and this is for married persons. And as I said, remember these mindsets for healthy relationships are not just for married persons, but this is for married persons. Don't confuse physical with emotional intimacy in marriage. So physical intimacy in a marriage does not necessarily lead to emotional intimacy unless the relationship is built up in other ways beside the physical aspect. So in marriage, emotional and physical intimacy are meant to go hand in hand. But sex can never be a substitute for true intimacy on an emotional level. Physical intimacy is likely to be less satisfying when one or both partners feel disconnected, so that emotional disconnect from each other. Number 4, so we're looking at how to become more open, right? Create an inviting atmosphere. So you're in a relationship, create an inviting atmosphere. Emotional openness can never be demanded, but should rather be an invitation. When an atmosphere of acceptance is created, then your loved ones are more likely to be willing to share their feelings openly. Be patient and understanding, starting with small steps, small disclosures, and gradually building up from there. Now, one of the things in terms of creating an inviting atmosphere is actually sometimes you self-disclosing. So when a person sees you self-disclose, they feel more comfortable to also share. But also sometimes some of the things we need to do is to ask a person how they feel, and when they share it, tell them thanks for sharing and move on. Don't go into, well, really, that's how you feel? Well, I wasn't expecting that. So then the person, you see, they can't handle it. So ask, but go on and do something that where you look, no matter what they share, you look relaxed, you look whatever, so that they start to realize it's a safe space for sharing. Also, sometimes you ask an opinion, and sometimes people are afraid to give opinions because they give their opinion and then people start just pulling apart their opinion. But you ask them for more opinion. So you ask your loved one for their opinion, they share their opinion, and you know what you do? You say, thanks for sharing your opinion. And you move and you go and do something else, or you change the topic and you say thanks for sharing, and you act very relaxed. So they start to realize, wait now, I could share my feelings, I could share my opinion without this turning into some kind of debate or argument or something. Try it. So you want to create an inviting atmosphere. Whether you agree with the opinion or not, it's not the issue, right? Remember, feelings are neither right nor wrong. This is their feelings. Good. So you can try little things like that. And as I said, sometimes you sharing your feelings about things and sharing your story helps other people to feel comfortable about sharing. Number 6, listen, note. That's 5. Listen carefully. I hope I number these things, right, Tiffany. I'm away with numbering, right? I think it's number 5, listeners, right? Listen carefully. When your loved one shares something with you, listen very carefully without thinking about what you are going to say next. Just concentrate on what they are actually saying and hear their heart and the feelings expressed behind the words. Look them in the eye, not the glaring or staring, right? Normal, good, healthy eye contact, right? Um, Come off your phone, right? If you cannot listen at that point in time, please say so. Let them know you really want to give them your full attention, right? Because what they have to say is important, and also allow them to and allow them also to finish whatever they have to say. Now, one of the things, especially when we are defensive and it's hard for us to hear things, it is better for us to listen and try to see if we could identify what the person is sharing is feeling and take it off of us. A lot of times when we listen, you're hearing, okay, how they feel about you or what you didn't do, and we can become very defensive. Number 6, validate each other's emotions. Often as children, we may have been given the impression that our feelings were bad, irrelevant, or not important. Crying may have been stigmatized as a sign of weakness, especially for boys. In an intimate and loving friendship relationship, you can encourage openness and vulnerability by validating each other's feelings. You can do this by reflecting or repeating your loved one's feelings in your own words, showing that you have understood that the way they feel is valid. And this can help them to learn to trust their own feelings, that, okay, what I'm feeling is normal then for the situation. Yeah? Overcoming the obstacles to emotional openness is well worth the effort that it will take. When you find the courage to be vulnerable with one another, you can expect to be rewarded with a new sense of closeness and emotional connection with your friends, with family, with spouse, right? Sharing your innermost feelings and finding acceptance can be one of the greatest gifts you can give to one another. And I have seen, even with parent-child relationships, where a child is trying to speak to a parent, and then the parent just makes it all about them. So that what starts to happen is that the child stops sharing. They stop being, emotionally open, because every time I try to share with dad or I try to share with mom, it becomes about them. So what you're trying to say, I don't care about you. Well, who helping me? Nobody helping me, and it goes into, say, you know what? It don't make sense sharing, right? And I wanted to say a little bit about that, which is about defensiveness, right? Because defensiveness really hampers, it shuts down emotional closeness. So in counseling, someone is defensive when one is constantly protecting oneself from criticism, exposure of one's shortcomings, or real or perceived threats to their ego. So somebody shares something with you, and in healthy relationships, we have to be able to share how we feel. Whether the feeling is I don't know, wonderful or not wonderful, because that is how the relationship gets better, right? So Nancy Collier, a psychotherapist who shares in Online Psychology Today, told of a woman telling her husband that something he had done had hurt her. As she was sharing, the pain was evident in her face and the tears were coming. The husband's immediate response was to angrily accuse her of doing the same thing to him. How dare she feel upset when she was guilty of exactly the same behavior? When she began defending herself, needing him to understand that she was not a person who would ever do such a thing to someone she supposedly cared about. Without responding to her claims, he moved on to his next defense attack. If she was hurt by what he had done, it was because she was overly sensitive. So you was hurt by that, well then you were overly sensitive. It was her problem, not his. Desperate now, the woman pleaded her case, explaining why it was reasonable for her to feel the pain that anyone would feel the way that she did. She was not overly sensitive. His behavior was insensitive. Her case was a good one, but he did not hear it and could not hear it. Sadly, with her original pain rejected and attacked, she now had a second layer of pain and misunderstanding to contend with. A second layer of feeling unknown and unloved as a result of the interaction. In the end, nothing was resolved. No connection was formed, and eventually they went their separate ways. Defensiveness can happen in any or all of our intimate relationships between parents and children, siblings, close friends, spouses. We all want to look good and feel good about ourselves, and we try very hard to maintain and keep that image. It is interesting that the more hurt a person is by our behavior, the more angry and defensive we are. When we are defensive, if someone tells us that we caused pain or hurt or did something wrong, what we hear them saying is, we are bad, or what you are doing is not enough, or we are not good, or we are not good enough, or you are not good enough. A message from our past hurts, usually in our childhood, and insecurities that we have not addressed. So somebody is trying to tell you how your behavior is hurting them, how whatever is happening is making you feel, and all you're hearing is they're saying you're not good enough, you're not, right? That is not what is really happening there. The truth is, in intimate relationships, the less we try to look good in the eyes of others or defend our identity, the better we feel about ourselves and the better we look in the eyes of others. I'm seeing the time, Tiffany, but I want to finish, right? If you have been accused of being defensive in the past, I want you to prayerfully try my suggestion. The next time your loved one shares something he or she did not like about your behavior, try to listen and resist the urge to button or interpret with something to explain or to defend your behavior. Just listen and try to focus on how your friend, child, parent, spouse is feeling. See if you can just tune into that. Tune out all those voices that say, what's Triple S talking? Why are you telling me that? But that's not true, right? See how that feels for you when you are not trying to defend your image. You know, fire that job now. Fire that job of image protector. Just fire it, right? God already has that covered, right? He has already said that you are loved and you're priceless. Intimate relationships are not about protecting our image, but having a safe space to share, to grow, to heal. All right, so 12:59. So we ended there, yes.
Yes, time flies so quickly. All right. Yes, it's actually 12:59. So today we're gonna pull the curtains down on the program Healthy Relationships. I want to say thank you so very much, Patrice, for always coming and giving us that information that we really need. All right. So just to give you some more information, guys, I know we were unable to connect via the telephone today as well as the WhatsApp. I'm just giving you Patrice's information. All right. Her phone number on WhatsApp would be 329-7383. That's 329-7383. You can also check out her website, coffeeconsultant.com. And also you can follow her on Facebook at Patrice Coffee and Associates, equipping people for life. And as well as on Instagram at Patrice Coffee 1470. Her services includes counseling online and in person for individual, adults and adolescents, married and premarital couples, families as well. There's also online support groups for divorced and separated persons and online mentoring and coaching groups for married couples with Huey and Patrice Coffee. There's also the training, the workshops and webinars, and these include marriage enrichment, premarital workshops, parenting, building healthy relationships, lay counselor training, and self-esteem improvements. We don't want you to forget about the available webinars on the website, which is coffeeconsultant.com. You've got understanding men and their emotions and how to encourage them to share, understanding marital trust, and how to rebuild it when it's broken. And the books, of course, you can get those on Amazon.com. You've got What My Parents Taught Me About Sex, Marriage, and Choosing a Husband by Huey and Patrice Coffee, and A Mind for Christ by Huey Coffee. So, Patrice, before you leave, let us know what you'll be dealing with next week. You have
right.
that?
What are we dealing with next week? Yes. A mindset where you are willing to be influenced by the persons you are in relationship with. So
All right.
a very important mindset, but just a little correction, I'm only meeting persons online right now.
Yes.
So no in person. Yeah.
Correct.
But yes, so next week, number 5, a mindset where you are willing to be influenced by those you are in relationship with. I know it's something weird, but it's really important for healthy
Excellent.
relationship.
Excellent. And guys, don't forget you can check out if you're listening via the radio and you've missed any of these, you can also go back onto our Facebook pages. That's Isaac the Promise, as well as our YouTube, FBN TV on YouTube, and you can see you can get all these messages once again from Patrice Coffee. So Patrice, want to say thank you so very much as per usual. We shall connect
Thank you.
again soon.
All right.
Okay,
Nice
so
being here. God bless you,
yes,
everyone.
God bless you.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Patrice Coffee, counselor and trainer, and one of my deepest desires is to see people experience the fulfillment and growth that comes through healthy relationships. We're wired for relationships, so tune in and join with me as I explore and discuss tools for healthy relationships every Monday, 12:15 p.m. on Isaac 98.1 FM.
Isaac 98.1